You are listening to Bedtime Dreamy Tales. Share and subscribe our channel. Story title: The Travelling Musicians. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by rolling hills and blooming fields, there lived an honest farmer who owned a loyal and hard-working donkey named Bruno. Bruno had served the farmer faithfully for many years, but as time went on, he grew older and weaker. One day, the farmer decided that Bruno was no longer fit for work and began to consider putting an end to his life. Sensing danger, Bruno made a plan to escape. "I may no longer be fit for farm work, but perhaps I can turn musician in the great city," thought Bruno. With a heavy heart but hopeful spirit, Bruno set off on the dusty road towards the city. As he trotted along, he spotted a weary dog lying by the roadside, panting heavily. "What makes you pant so, my friend?" Bruno asked kindly. "Alas," replied the dog, whose name was Rex. "My master wanted to knock me on the head because I am old and can no longer help him hunt. I ran away to save myself, but now I don't know how to survive." "Hark ye," said Bruno. "I am going to the great city to become a musician. Why don't you join me and see what fortune we might find together?" Rex, seeing a glimmer of hope, agreed, and the two friends continued on their journey. Not far along the way, they came across a cat sitting in the middle of the road, looking terribly distressed. "Pray, my good lady," asked Bruno, "what's the matter with you? You seem quite out of spirits." "Ah, me," said the cat, named Whiskers. "I am growing old and prefer resting by the fire to chasing mice. My mistress wanted to drown me, so I ran away. But now I am lost and don't know how I will survive." "By all means, come with us to the great city," said Bruno. "You are a good night singer and may become a musician." Whiskers, relieved and hopeful, joined Bruno and Rex. As the trio walked through the countryside, they heard a loud, sorrowful crowing. It was a rooster perched on a gate, crying out at the top of his lungs. "Bravo!" called Bruno. "You have a fine voice. Pray, what is all this about?" "Why," replied the rooster, whose name was Chanticleer, "I was predicting fine weather, but my mistress and the cook plan to cut off my head tomorrow to make broth for the guests on Sunday." "Heaven forbid!" exclaimed Bruno. "Come with us, Master Chanticleer. We might form a concert and turn our fate around." With a grateful heart, Chanticleer joined the group, and the four new friends set off together, their spirits high with hope. As night fell, the four friends found themselves deep in a dark forest. Exhausted from their journey, they decided to rest. Bruno and Rex lay down under a large tree. Whiskers climbed into the branches, and Chanticleer flew to the top to keep watch. Before closing his eyes, Chanticleer noticed a light glimmering in the distance. "There must be a house nearby," he called to his friends. "If that is so," said Bruno, "we should find better shelter than this." "Indeed," added Rex. "I wouldn't mind a bone or two for supper." They walked towards the light and soon came upon a house. Peeking through the window, Bruno saw a table laden with delicious food and a group of robbers making merry. "What do you see, Bruno?" asked Chanticleer. "I see a table full of food and robbers enjoying a feast," Bruno replied. "That would be a fine lodging for us," said Whiskers. "If only we could get in," added Rex. After some discussion, they devised a plan. Bruno stood on his hind legs with his front legs resting against the window. Rex climbed onto Bruno's back, Whiskers onto Rex's shoulders, and Chanticleer perched on Whiskers' head. At a signal, they began their music. Bruno brayed, Rex barked, Whiskers meowed, and Chanticleer crowed. The cacophony was so startling that the robbers, thinking some frightful hobgoblin had broken in, fled in terror. The coast clear, the four friends entered the house and helped themselves to the feast. Once they were full, they each found a comfortable spot to rest. Bruno lay on a heap of straw in the yard, Rex on a mat behind the door, Whiskers curled up by the warm hearth, and Chanticleer perched on a beam. Around midnight, one of the robbers, braver than the rest, decided to return to the house to see if it was safe. Finding everything quiet, he tiptoed into the kitchen and tried to light a match. Mistaking Whiskers' glowing eyes for live coals, he held the match to them. Whiskers, startled, leaped at his face, scratching and spitting. Terrified, the robber ran towards the back door, where Rex jumped up and bit him on the leg. As he stumbled into the yard, Bruno gave him a mighty kick. Chanticleer, awakened by the commotion, crowed loudly from his perch. The robber, convinced that the house was haunted by witches and demons, fled back to his comrades. Panting and wide-eyed, he recounted his tale of horror. "A witch scratched my face with her long bony fingers, a man with a knife stabbed my leg, a monster hit me with a club, and the devil himself screamed from the rooftop." The robbers, now thoroughly frightened, decided never to return to the house. The four friends, delighted with their new home, decided to settle there. They cleaned the house, divided the chores, and practiced their music together every day. Bruno became the strong, steady rhythm. Rex added joyful barks, Whiskers sang melodious tunes, and Chanticleer punctuated the music with his bright crowing. Word of their unique band spread through the nearby towns, and soon people came from far and wide to listen to the travelling musicians. They played at festivals, weddings and fairs, earning enough to live comfortably. Bruno, Rex, Whiskers and Chanticleer had found not only a new home, but also a family in each other. And so, the four unlikely friends lived happily ever after, making music and bringing joy to all who heard them. Their story became a legend, reminding everyone that no matter how dire the circumstances, friendship and hope could turn the tide of fate. If you like this story, please give this video a like. For more stories, go to bedtimedreamytales.com. See you in the next story.